Hello, guys, and welcome back to A. You're doing the most. I am Cinnamon.
I'm Brittany
Hey,
Burks.
hey, welcome back, everybody. Today we have such a lovely guest with us, and he's on the phone. We're gonna put his info up on the screen when we premiere this show. We have Quan Mills with us, everybody. Oh, bow, 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 bow. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Doing wonderful. Thank you for inviting me onto your platform. Um, so you guys probably like my actually very first podcast interview that I'm doing. I was very apprehensive about doing them, but I said, you know what, let me go ahead and start reaching out to people just so that, people probably curious as to who I am and why I write the type of books that I write. So
Because they're juicy.
ready to spill it all.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be the first podcast that you came on. So crazy. I know you went viral several times, but
Mm,
this most recent time was last year. That's when I first learned about you, was last year. And I posted one of your books thinking that, like, not like it was a joke, but the title, I was like, no way that these are books. And so I posted like, I'm gonna start a book club. And my aunt in LA was like, "Oh, I've read all his books. You're so late." I'm like, "How I'm late to the party?"
yeah, yeah. I get that all the time. It's hilarious because my mom, she just started to realize how popular
Hmm.
I am, and so she used to work for the post office. I'm originally from Miami, Florida. I live in Chicago now, but um, one of her ex coworkers, called her. They were just chopping it up one day, and she was like, "Yeah, my son, he's an author,"
Hmm.
and she was like, "Oh, really?" She was like, "Yeah, Bernadette and I, Bernadette's her daughter. She works for the post office too, and
Hmm.
she's pretty young." She was like, "Yeah, Bernadette and I, we read books all the time." She was like, "Just send me his Instagram handle, and I'll check him out." So my mom just sends, her friend Rose my IG page, and I'm thinking, I know he has fans, but I don't know how popular he is. So like a day or two later, my mom's friend calls her. She's like, "Oh my god!" She was like, "Me and Bernadette, we over here freaking out. Bernadette had a whole a freak out session at the post office." She was like, "Wow, what happened?" She was like, Your son is Quan Mills. We read all his books." And then that's when my mom realized, just how popular I was. I was like, "Yeah, I told you." I was like, "It may not seem like it, but a lot of people read my book." So, my wife, she has a cousin and she reads my books. And the other day, one of her other cousins just found out who I was. I'm like, "Dang," I'm like, you didn't realize that it was me to make it didn't tell you. She's like, "No, I didn't." She's like, "I've been reading your books for like a year. Didn't even realize that was even you." I was like, "Yeah, that's me." So yeah, it's pretty surreal because it's like I'm not even that famous like that, but it's
Hmm.
like I get DMs all the time where people tell me crazy stories about how like their coworkers will be like, talking about my books, and then they'll be like, "Yeah, I know him. I'm related to him," or "Yeah, I went to high school with him and whatnot." Yeah, so it's kind of surreal, but I like it though. I mean, it's cool. I couldn't even imagine, to be honest with you, what it would be like getting to a point where I got like 1 million followers or something like that on IG, because that just seems like a lot to handle, honestly. But I mean, it's cool. So
So two things. So I have the That Hoe Got Roaches on in Her Crib. I have that book. And I
hmm
also listened to the audiobook of
the
the Pastor
pastor
Eat
book.
Pussy. Yes.
hmm
Oh my goodness. So look, two things. How do you come up with these? I know it's just like everyday regular shit, but the Pastor Eat Pussy too, to me, was so surreal because, like, I used to dance. I used to dance. And so, like, literally when she would go through her stories and talk about like being in a strip club and doing this and doing that, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I feel like it was me writing it myself.
I get this question all the time,
Hmm.
and it's like maybe it's just me. I don't know, because I'm just like, well, damn, these stories are not that hard to come up with. Because I'm like, I got a vivid ass imagination. Like I just be I don't know. Maybe in the past life I was a muse or a griot,
Uh-huh.
but they just come to me. Just and then on top of that, like I've lived in different cities. I've had so many jobs. Like before I became a full time writer, I probably had like I'm not even gonna lie, probably close to like 16 different types of jobs from the time I graduated college in 2006 up until like 2017. I probably had like 16 different types of jobs. And I just worked in all different types of call centers, met all different types of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you, I was born and raised in Miami. Then I lived in Gainesville. Then I lived in Atlanta for a year, moved back to Miami. Then I moved to Chicago. Then I lived pretty much, I don't know if if you're familiar with Chicago. I mean, I didn't live in the hood or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
I used to work in the hood. So I just met so many different types of people and used to work in social services. I mean, I've just seen so much, done so much. And it's just like, I think the problem with when I read a lot of books, it's like a lot of times I feel like people are afraid to talk about
Mm-hmm.
certain stories that we just know as Black people happen, but you don't really, I mean, there are other urban fiction books, but sometimes they could be a little bit too unrealistic, or it's the same hood love story in a way. It just seems kind of repetitive in a way. But like for me, I'm like, nah, I want to talk about some of the more everyday stuff that just happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but as far as like the Pastor book, I wrote that actually in reaction to that whole Pastor Wilson viral situation.
Oh, okay. Okay. And it's
So
so crazy because I was going to ask you, because for a minute I thought that you was not from the South, but I know you have a lot of references. Like you reference Papados, you reference like different Southern places. I'm like, is he from Texas for a minute?
I'm straight. And it's funny because I don't know if you've seen the controversy, but people think I'm white. So
No.
yeah. Oh, you didn't? Yeah, yeah. People think I'm white. It's a whole conspiracy theory.
No, I know the biggest thing that I always see is that no offense, but the biggest thing I always see is that you're locked up. But you're not.
Why? Nope.
Got you.
I'm
So yeah, that's
100% black.
no, not white. The only thing that I see the most is that when I read is that you're in jail or that you're locked up right now.
Oh, and you know what? It that actually would not be a stretch of truth, and I'm shocked that more people don't run with that
Uh-huh.
than the whole white thing. Because reality is, a lot of urban fiction writers who are men are incarcerated, and urban books are big in jails and prisons. And I knew a lot of writers
Mm-hmm.
are in jail, like male writers, but it wasn't until like maybe like 2 years ago that I started doing more research. And I'm like, shit, like, well, I'm sorry, can I
No,
curse?
you can
Yeah.
cut. Hell
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
fuck that shit.
Oh, I didn't realize until maybe like I would say like a year and a half ago just how popular urban fiction books are in jails and prisons. So like when I've been doing all this promo on these different blogs, like on Follow Alert and It's
Mm-hmm.
on Site, and I'm seeing people, oh, these jail books, these are jail books. This is what you read when you're. I'm like, why do people keep saying that?
Mm-hmm.
Then I started talking to more and more people. I've never been to jail before, so I don't know nothing about no damn jail or prison. I've seen plenty of documentaries to help me write more realistic jail and prison scenes, but I've never stepped a day in jail, never even been arrested. So I don't know nothing about jail or prison, right? But as I started doing more research and talking to people who used to be incarcerated, they're like, no, bro, I'm telling you, like, urban fiction books are really big in
Mm-hmm.
prison. I'm like, really? Because I'm thinking to myself, like, well, maybe literacy isn't as high, whatever. I don't know, but apparently no. Like urban fiction books are like a currency inside of like a lot of penitentiary systems where like people barter
Hmm.
books for like commissary, like for other things, for like food and whatnot. I'm like, that's mind blowing to me. So, um, but yeah, no, like people, you're probably like maybe the second person to bring up, oh, he's probably in jail or in prison,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why we don't see him. But no, most people, not I wouldn't say most, but there is a big conspiracy theory that started back in 2019 that people think that I'm white,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm a white man named Kobe Durden from Georgia.
That is fucking wild.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
Yep. And that now they have one that I'm a white man from Georgia, and
Mm-hmm.
that my real name is, they put now that is my real name. Now that people now, I mean they'll drop that in the comments, but I'm like, anybody can have that name. And then, I mean, just
That mean I'm
what you
white.
supposed right, exactly. You supposed my name's supposed to be like Dontavius or something like
I
that,
want you to be
or
ghetto so bad.
right. That it's like you either gotta be and then they accuse me of peddling stereotypes, but then you stereotyping what black people should act, do, what their names should be. Like I see
Hmm.
all types of crazy stuff. I'm like, but that's stereotyping in of itself. Like we're not a monolith. Like not every black person lives in the hood, and not every black person lives in a suburban gated community. I mean,
That's
that's
facts.
common sense. We're not like we share a lot of commonalities,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm pretty sure it's a lot of things you all do and shit. There's probably differences between people who live in Dallas versus Houston.
Absolutely.
It's a big difference.
Yeah,
100%. You know
you
what's
know what
so
I'm.
crazy? I think that people like not to connect you with the jail thing, but I think that they reference that because your books are so realistic. It's kind of
Mhm.
like it gives them not hope, but it's like what's going on back home. Like literally
Oh,
like fucking a girl and she got roaches in her house is I mean everybody, I mean not every single person, but a lot of black men can like
Relate to that.
yeah, they can relate to it. So it's like that's
right.
kind of what they chasing.
And another thing about that book, I wrote that book actually as a joke. It was supposed to be satirical because I had gone to some urban, like I don't know if you know anything about like the urban fiction author community, but
Mm-hmm.
it's very competitive. And at the time, I've always been indie, and so like I've always had like this, and it was kind of my fault because I kind of put fuel on the fire. Like 50 Cent would troll people online and stuff. I was kind of doing that too,
Mm-hmm.
and so like you know, when I was experimenting with like these different titles, because when I first started writing, none of my titles were like this. Like, if you were to see my books that I ever put out when I first started writing, you'd be like, no way in hell. Like, nah, this is like two different people. But what I realized was is that it was so competitive because you had all these other authors signed to these large internet publishing companies, and they were like dropping book after book after book after book every day. And one of my friends who got me into this, I was telling her, I'm like, it ain't no way in hell we're going to stand out on those charts on Amazon to get new readers if we got to compete with 50 books that's coming out every damn day.
Hmm.
And then and then it's like the way it works in urban fiction, at least back in 2017, was that like these authors form these cliques and then they have groups and they could shoot a book up to being number one or number two in the whole entire urban fiction genre. And then it's like, imagine doing that now with 30, 40 books. And then
Mm-hmm.
even when you do chart well, you by default coming in at 30 or 40 because you got 30 or 40 other books that are doing way better than you because people are literally like, they got like these pyramid scheme type of publishing companies that are just shooting these books up to like these top spots. So I told my friend, I'm like, and then everybody's kind of running with like the same type of titles and
Mm-hmm.
covers. And so I told my friend, I'm like, there's no way we're going to really stand out if we're writing what everybody else is writing because they're using it's only like two or three really good urban fiction book designers, and then everybody kind of has like the same titles where it's all like hood love stories or
Yeah.
thug romance stories, whatever. So my very first book that I put out, it was called Ran Off on the Plug Twice because I saw that a lot of writers were using some titles
Oh,
as book
ran off on
titles.
the plug twice. Oh, I
Yeah, the
get it.
Pliers song,
I got
right? Yeah,
it. I got it.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I wrote that book, and it actually did kind of, I had just gotten fired from my job, so I was like, I'm gonna do that. So I did that. I wrote that book, and then it kind of made some money, especially for my new book, which was surprising.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I started seeing, just how competitive it was, and then I started doing other little time, like I wrote this novella called Secrets of a Side Nigga, which I was being funny and I was writing like a kind of like an urban comedy based off a very popular urban fiction book called Secrets of a Side Bitch.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of made some money, but people were so turned off by the storyline because it was about this dude who just got out of jail and he's being pimped out by this girl, if you don't know if she's like 12 or 13 or if she's really an older woman. But I was just being funny. But I took it off of Amazon now. I was just playing around. But then it was, and then I put out a few other books, like another book called Chirac Savage, and there was another one. Finesse Queens. And then it wasn't until summer of 2017 that I said, I gotta do something to really stand out. And this is when I was telling my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I saw this cover on this pre-made cover website, and it had like a white girl on it with a Lamborghini, and that's like very common in urban fiction. You see, like it's like a woman, like with a car, money, drugs, and stuff. But this one was a white woman, which was always odd to me because I'm like 99% of the readers are black women between the ages of like 25 and 50. Why would you put a white woman at that on a book cover? Like, I'm thinking, ain't no way in hell a black woman is gonna want to read some shit about a white girl. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna try some new shit. So I put in a request and I said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna name this book "My Bad White Bitch," and then I got a ghostwriter to write a book because I was like, first of all, I don't read romance and I don't write it.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of stay in my lane, but I was like, you know what? But I just want to experiment and test the market. Would people actually read something like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why? People bought this book, and I made like probably like $12,000 like in 2 months off this book.
Mm-hmm.
Blown away. I was surprised. Now, mind you, I'm still a new writer,
Mm-hmm.
and that really kind of caught a lot of people by surprise because they're like, why in the hell are people reading a book called My Bad White Bitch? And who is this Quan Mills dude? So then I put out some other titles like Tatiana. That kind of did well. The Hottest Summer Ever. That did good. And then I got to a point where I started to see my sales stalling, and I was like, you know what? I don't feel like I'm writing the books that I really want to write. So, and I'm more of like a drama type of person. Like, I like movies like Precious. What's the other one? Holiday Heart. Like movies like that, about people struggling, whatnot, and them trying to get over their problems and stuff. So I said, you know what? By January 2018, I was like, I'm gonna start writing what I want to write. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, then I'll just go back and get another job and just be done with this urban fiction stuff. So um, I wrote a book called Gutter Hole Dreams, but I retitled it like a year later to Project Hole Dreams. But Gutter Hole
Oh, I
Dreams.
love the titles. Oh my God.
The titles is what gets me.
I fucking love them all.
But that's the thing. That's what I'm like. If I were and this is what I try to explain to people because I'm like, let's be real. It like people read. Don't get me wrong. People read.
Mm-hmm.
Black people read, but we're not reading like that.
Yes.
To where like I could just write a normal title book and sell it. Like it's competitive and like it's not even competitive, but a lot of traditional publishers they don't even really publish black books like that because they don't really think there's a market for it.
Oh, let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought about my degree is in theater. So have you ever thought about like putting on a show or thinking about making it a short film or putting anything like something on YouTube?
Yeah, so that's actually what I'm working on actually, to be honest with you. Because I know that, books, see, for me, books has always been a foundation.
Yeah.
And see, going back to the titles, like when I put out that book, Gutter Hole Dreams, and my marketing strategy was I would literally post chapters on Facebook and give readers pretty much the whole entire first part of the book for free.
Oh, that's dope.
Exactly. And then I could gauge, build up because the thing is, a lot of times people will see the title and be like, oh, I ain't reading that, but that's a crazy title, or that seems offensive or stereotypical, whatever. But if I give you the chapters, chapter by chapter, and you see what I'm writing, you'll be like, oh no, I like that. This is cool. Like I love this, So that's what I started doing. I've been doing that for years now. Where I give people in my groups, even on my page, you go on my group right now, you'll see I have like Now, eventually, I got to a point where I had to delete it because of Amazon and whatnot. But yeah, I'll post chapters, kind of like some Wattpad type shit. And so I don't know if you guys know what Wattpad is, but you probably do.
I think I've heard of it.
It's like a reading app, but it's like really popular with like kids and stuff. But you can read free books.
Oh, that's dope. So,
Yeah. So
what's your
go
thing?
ahead. I'm sorry.
What's your thing with being like a mystery? Like we don't know what you look like. Is that all into like the?
You know what? When I first came out, I did have pictures up, but I said to myself, I don't want, because here's the thing about social media, Instagram, and eventually I will show myself, but I feel like the mystery is what keeps the books front and center.
Yes.
Because I tried to Google you, I'm not gonna lie, and I couldn't find shit but these books.
Exactly. Yeah, I did a very good job of scrubbing the internet of any type of presence.
Good ass job.
Yeah. No, I really, and I did that deliberately because I feel like the problem is that when this new social media environment, it's like there's almost this expectation that you got to be front and center. And then it's like, as an author, it's like, I'm trying to get you all to digest the stories. I don't want you to be consumed with me and what I'm doing day in and day out. And see, that's the problem with like being on Instagram and Facebook, is that like, then you start making content where it's not even about the books anymore. You cracking jokes, or you sharing other people's crazy stories, or you just it doesn't relate back to the books and the content that you're trying to put out there. So, and then on top of that, having that mystery, it further fuels people's speculation. Like, it's all a part of my marketing, because I figured, okay, if I'm already out there, people know what I look like, people see my family, people see this, that, like, people just, oh, okay, he's just writing these books, crazy titles, whatever. But the fact that people would even think that I'm white, as crazy as it sounds, because I'm not gonna lie, it still bothers me. I mean, it bothers me greatly, but at the same time, like, it does give me a lot of buzz. It does bring a lot of attention to me, because then it's like people are like, well, who is this white man out here writing these stereotypical books, making us look bad, da 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 da. But then people will come in my DMs and they'll be like, are you really white? I've been hearing this, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And I'll send them voice memos and stuff. I mean, even though I know that's not proof, but I mean, once you talk to me long enough, you're probably like, okay, no, he's black. So
definitely not white.
Yeah,
but don't look. Once you decide to drop a pic, don't come out white, because I'm gonna be mad. I'm like,
oh no,
really
trust me.
White.
Nah, that's what somebody said too. I was like, but it's so funny because. And this is what I was trying to explain to people. I'm like, if I'm not gonna lie, if I was white, I don't think I would be writing urban fiction, because I spent so much money trying to market and make books. Like, if I was white, like, it's a lot of old ass white people that read books. I'm not even gonna lie. So, like, if I was a writer,
right, you would
be way.
You wouldn't cater to that market. No, I was gonna say you wouldn't cater to that market. You would just cater to the white market.
Exactly. Right. Because it's like, first of all, it's more white people than black people in America. Right. Yeah. Well, first of all, we only make up like 14% of the U.S. population. White people are still the majority, so they just got the numbers on their side, and it's just way more white people reading, period. So why would if I'm trying to make money and I'm trying to maximize myself, because at the end of the day, that's really what it boils down to. But I mean, I do this full time. I don't have no other job. Shit, this is my like bread and butter for like the last 5 years. So like, if I was white, trust me, I would not be writing urban fiction, because they like, look at Stephen King. He drops one book, he could sell like 1 million copies in a week.
I'm not gonna lie, you being white wasn't even a thing that I was down about. I was down about you not being in jail. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the thing that got me down. But I do have another question for you. What advice would you give like a young author or someone that's trying to not get into like specifically your niche, but someone that wants to put out a book that, let's just say for instance, because like myself, I'm not an author at all, but I do have probably 30 pages of a book that I've been writing at this point for like 7 years. At first, I titled it Karma, then I changed it to Chapter 27. It's been on a journey. But what kind of advice would you give a person that's interested in getting into becoming an author?
So this is very Um, I mean, it's a simple question, but it's very multifaceted because so many things
Mm-hmm.
go into making you a good author. But I think at the end of the day, um, what you have to first and foremost understand is that, like, storytelling is something that I'm not going to say it's a gift, but some people either have it or they don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is something that you can learn. But, like, the thing about being a storyteller is that you kind of have to be very vivid with your words, if that makes any sense. And some people just don't know how to, like, really form a story in their head, because there's structure to it, there's a flow to it, like there's beats and whatnot, like you can study that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's not even just about the even just understanding the structure, but like how you paint that structure. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody could be, now here's the thing, you could still learn how to write
Mm-hmm.
fiction and put it out there. You might be successful, right? But, like, that's just one component. Like, there has to obviously be talent, right?
Most definitely.
And but the other important thing is that even if you have talent, and I tell people this all the time, even if you could be the most talented writer in the world, how are you going to hook people into buying your shit? Because the thing is, it's not like I just turned 38. So it's not like it's 1999 or 2000 when, like, there was no social media, people was barely using the internet, bookstores were everywhere, people were buying hardbacks and paperbacks left and right. Like, we live in an environment now where it's like, a lot of just different platforms that people can use and be distracted by, whether it's IG, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. So it's like you got to think beyond just books. You also got to think of yourself as a storyteller, and how can you translate your stories into something that even supersedes a book. And that's why I go back to the idea of, like, doing film, because that is my goal, to be honest with you. That's actually what I'm transitioning to, because I'll still put out books, but I know that I will reach bigger audiences with movies.
Right.
And so, you got to see yourself more than just a author, but more so as a writer slash storyteller, and really figuring out, okay, what is the lane that you're going to ride in? What I've discovered was that there was a lane for these ratchet type of books, for
Mm-hmm.
these crazy story titles, right? Oh, crazy book titles. I'm sorry, or ratchet book titles.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can do that, because sometimes you read there have been other writers that have attempted to do this, where they try to put out, like, their own version of ratchet books, and you read it and it's not even good, because they just don't understand it. Like, it's not even just about just the title, but it's about the content that goes along with it, and understanding these characters that make up ratchet. That's like one of the gripes that I have about, like, like watching shit like Bad Boys Club, or
So you are a fan of Bad Boys Club? Oh my gosh, I am. So wait, you don't like it or you like it?
well, I've seen clips of it, but the
Uh huh.
thing is that, like, to me, it's not ratchet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
like
just,
Force Ratchet.
yeah, it's like watching a whole bunch of dudes in a house,
Mm-hmm.
and they constantly,
Fighting.
fighting. That's not ratchet. Any
Yeah.
fights are not ratchet. Ratchet would be like, why are you fighting? Are you fighting because Darrell you slept with Milan Christopher's girlfriend,
Hello.
and you supposed to be gay, or, like, you got somebody pregnant, or you gave somebody an STD, like, that's ratchet. You know what I'm saying? Like, but just being in the house, and y'all is gay men versus straight men, or so-called straight men, because
Mm-hmm.
I can't, it's just weird. That whole entire show is kind of weird to me, but I get what they're doing, because it is, I mean, people
Entertaining.
watch it, it's
It's
entertaining to a degree.
entertaining.
But me personally, ratchet is not just fighting, it's about the storyline that comes along with it, like why people are doing what they're doing. Like I don't know if you all saw this viral Twitter thread that was talking about this woman talking about she got invited to a sex party or orgy or underground orgy in Atlanta, and she then, and like in the last slide, she was talking about how she let like 200 guys.
I did see
Um,
that.
you
I
did see
saw
that?
it. Yes.
I
Wait, what
created that.
happened? Wait, what happened?
You did?
Tell me. I
Yeah.
didn't see it.
Oh, okay. So she went to a sex club.
Okay.
Because I think her husband wasn't like I think he was out of town and he wasn't excited like
Yes.
that.
Mhm.
But
Yes.
she ended up fucking 200 plus men. They all nutted in her,
Yeah.
all of them. And her
And
husband,
then at the end, she talks about, well, this is what happens when, you know, you don't pay attention to me, or I'm
yes,
not a priority because the 200 other niggas think I'm more of a priority.
yes,
Yeah, I created that whole entire thread
you did
as a
that
way to
one.
promote my book, and it just went viral, right? And but you know, of course, people, they took the last line, they didn't give me attribution, but you see how that went viral, and you saw how crazy everybody was reacting about that, and then people started talking about all the underground sex clubs and lifestyle clubs that exist in Atlanta and all these different cities and stuff. That's ratchet. That's like, damn, you married, but you let 200 men, which
Nutting you.
it's kind of physically impossible. I mean, I was exaggerating greatly, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But that's the whole point, like the outlandishness of it. The ratcheticity that, like, that's what makes a story compelling, because you're like, oh shit, like, is this real? Like, somebody actually did that? 200 guys? Like, girl, you need to go to a clinic, or like,
Them slides, they draw me, and I'm like, this can't be fucking real. And then I'm like, it's a book. I
yep,
knew it.
yep. Exactly. Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what makes it ratchet. Even like the idea of stripping. To me, just because you're a stripper or you're a dancer, that doesn't make you ratchet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's not like what I mean, what people have been dancing since the beginning of time. Like, it's erotic dancing, right? That, to me, that's not ratchet. But what's ratchet is the drama that goes on behind the scenes in that strip club. If, like, there's some like prostitution going on, or like, well, even that's not even really ratchet, because sex work is sex work. But like, it's like the drama though.
Yeah,
Like,
like in
if
your book when you said when that girl got set up by Daryl, or what was his name? The dude that
uh
the dude that
oh,
was
you
supposed to
talking
get
about,
her $5,000 each.
exactly,
Now that was some.
but they were trying to set him up to get to drug him and rob him, which is like a thing, like, because Cardi B was accused of doing that.
But she admitted
um
it.
oh, she admitted to doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that why Tasha K was suing her? Not Tasha K. Why she was suing Tasha K? I'm sorry. Because wasn't she lying? Well, she said that she had STDs or
Yeah,
something
no,
like that, I
she said
think.
she had it. She sued her because she said she had STD.
STD, yeah. But yes, that's ratchet. Like, damn, you out here setting up dope boys to get robbed. You baiting them to motels and you send them up to get robbed. Like, to me, that's ratchet. That's dramatic. Like, just saying somebody is a stripper or a sex worker, or whatever. That's not really ratchet. That's just,
Regular.
you just, at that point, you just kind of like shaming somebody for an occupation that, at the end of the day, it is what it is. If somebody is paying for sex, that's them. That's what they want to do. That's their body. They can do whatever they want to do with their body.
And all
You know
these
what I'm
men pay
saying?
for sex anyway. They just may be paying for it in a different way.
Exactly, right. Like all these sugar daddies, sugar mamas, sugar babies type of relationships. I mean, I just feel like at the end of the day, it's just what makes a story. And this is going back to the advice that I would give a new author. Like, it's really, that's why I say it's multifaceted. Like, you gotta, on one hand, understand like what makes a really good story, and can you really execute it? Because sometimes you can have a good idea, but the execution, it just falls apart, right? But like, that story has to be compelling enough, and then you got to figure out a way how to market it and get people's attention. Because it's like, in today's society, like, you getting like distracted by everything, whether it's TikTok videos, YouTube shorts, YouTube videos, Twitter, Facebook. It's all these different streaming platforms: Netflix, Tubi, IMDb TV. Like, all the shit that people have access to now. Like, when I was growing up, even in college, we only had, like, I don't know how old you are, but shit, when I was growing up, we only had like 50 channels.
That's all we
There was
had.
no, right, 50 channels.
That's it.
That was it. Your ass had to come
Maybe
home,
30.
right? And then, like, remember BET, like, used to, Like by like 3, 4 p.m., you watch 106 in Park. You might watch MTV Jams or The
Fetus
Count,
World.
whatever. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that was it. When it came on, it came on. That was it. You had to watch. Hopefully
You
you
better
catch a
catch that
rerun.
video if you want to
Yeah,
catch it.
you couldn't
You
even
missed it.
record
It
Exactly.
was
nothing.
over
Remember the
with.
box? Remember the box back in the day when you
Rap City in the basement with Tigger and the
e-
freestyles. You missed it. You
exactly.
missed it.
You
Yeah.
missed it. Exactly. And it wasn't gonna come back. And it was just
Yeah.
like, damn. And there was no YouTube for you to watch clips of it. That like even when like Sister Soldier's the coldest winter ever, like one of the reasons why that book became so popular the way that it did is because there was no like internet. That book came out in 1999, 2000. Like shit. I mean, who? There was no. You either read or you watched TV, like
Yeah.
magazines, Vibe, The Source, Ebony Jet, whatever, Essence. So it's like nowadays you got to really figure out a way how to, and that's the reason why, like with my book titles and the covers, I'm like, man, look, I don't. Eventually, I will evolve beyond those titles. Hopefully, one day. And that way, I don't have to constantly, because to a degree, I do think that it's not good to constantly write that type of toxic material, especially if I know that I'm trying to market to black people, because I don't want to come off as if I'm just out here just trying to exploit the worst situations that black people go through just to make money. You know what I'm saying?
Tyler
Like that,
Perry do it.
he does it, but you know what? I'm gonna give him his props, but I feel like I don't know. I don't want to say anything bad about him. I don't have anything really bad to say about him because I mean, I just feel like I think he understands the business of like what it takes to just make people watch stuff.
Okay.
You know, like that show Ruthless, that shit is crazy. And I'm like, some of the scenarios that he has, I'm like, damn, dude, you just I don't know what's going on in your head, but I thought I was crazy, but I'm like watching his shit. I'm like, damn, this is actually good inspiration to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, after a while, it's like once you have a certain amount of money, resources, a platform, you could kind of experiment and do different things. Like one day, I might want to write like uh, um, what do you call it? Like a sci-fi or something a little bit different. But I still want to keep the foundation of Quant Mills, but it's just my version or interpretation of like something that's still urban. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I just feel like for right now, it's just a matter of just trying to get my name out there, build up an audience, get popular, try to really, build a name for myself. And yeah, I'll have my critics. I'll have haters. I'll have people be like, oh, you're making black people look bad. But it's like, shit, you can make that argument virtually about a lot of stuff. I mean, you could say rap makes black people look bad. I mean, you got dudes out here talking about killing their ops, literally on these songs and stuff, and and that's real. Like I'm not out here killing nobody, but people out here really killing people, like over songs and disses and stuff. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I know that you're not gonna be able to satisfy everybody, you're not gonna be able to please everybody. So my thing right now is I'm just trying to like grow my name, grow my brand, and then make enough money where I can start producing my own um what do you call it? Start producing my own content. Um, like Tyler Perry, because it's brilliant what he did,
Yeah.
with the whole Medea universe and just building that out. And he's constantly coming out with new stuff. Like I remember the other day I went to IMDb TV and I saw the amount of shows that
He has
he's
a
written. He's
lot
done
of
like
them.
at least like 15 of them.
Man.
Like damn.
And I mean, and then like a lot of his shows have like fucking 200 episodes. Like my
Right.
God.
Right. Like
what's the Haves and the Have-Nots have at least 200 episodes. 300.
Hell yeah.
And it's
300
Hell
and
yeah.
it's still going. Like 300, 400
Right.
episodes. Like it's literally like All My Children.
Right, exactly. But he knows
Literally.
exactly
General
what he's
Hospital.
doing.
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing. But it's so crazy. I could like you're literally on the way. Like if not damn near there. Like your books. Like again, I was late to the party, but trust me, I'm here. I'm at the party. But people they know what's up.
You know what? Oh man, I wish there was more people like you. Because I think the problem is, to be honest with you, and I'm running up against this. I think the other issue is that people feel like, because I keep people saying I wouldn't read this, I wouldn't read this, but I'll watch it, and I'll be like, okay, so there's some sort of dissonance, cognitive dissonance going on, because I'm like, you all are saying you won't read it. Is it because your perception of what you think should go into a book is different versus what you would watch? I don't know if that makes any sense, but like I feel like a lot of black people, a lot of our people feel like if I read something, I want to read something that will be stimulating intellectually and that I'll learn
Mhm.
something from it. But I don't know if I want to waste money or time reading something that just sounds like some everyday ratchet drama that I could watch on television. And that's when it hit me. I'm like, okay, I know that I'll have my readers and I'll find new readers, and that's cool. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of people out there who are like, I won't read this shit, but I'll
Oh,
watch
you'll
it.
watch it like the reality TV. We like
Exactly.
to see the drama. It makes
Exactly. You don't,
sense.
you, exactly. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people are like, I'll watch this shit, but I'm not going to sit up here and like buy a book and put it on my bookshelf so that when people come over, people will be like, damn, like, listen, you read these types of books? But then some people may not care, and that's cool. Like, shit, I mean, I just feel like there's something for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So my thing right now is, to be honest with you, I'm just trying to get this material out there. I'm trying to pump it out there. I'm trying to get new fans, and I'm trying to raise. So for me, it's not even about just making money and being rich. It's about having enough money to where I can actually make movies, because it takes a lot of money to make these movies. Like I'm working on a few deals right now, and like I'm close to one deal. I'm not gonna put too many details out there, but like it takes money to make those movies. Like even on
Mm-hmm.
Tubi, like some of those movies cost like $300,000 to make.
On Tubi?
Yeah, yes,
Sheesh.
yep. I know it sounds crazy as hell, right? Now a lot of those movies on Tubi, they ain't made for no 300 grand. It's more like 10,000 and $15,000. They got free actors, and you could tell the sound, the editing, all that's
Mm-hmm.
off. But some of those movies, believe it or not, man, some people spent like maybe 15, 20 grand making a movie, and they make like 100, $200,000 off of it.
Damn.
I
Oh, I
know it's
believe
crazy.
it.
Yeah. And
Especially
so,
when you start getting union actors and SAG actors and all that stuff, you gotta pay them.
yeah, and you know what's crazy too, and this is why I'm like, I'm really trying to jump on this whole Tubi thing,
Mm-hmm.
because people keep saying, "Oh man, this he made these are like Tubi movies. These are like he's writing books that are like Tubi movies." Da 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 da. But see, here's the thing. I don't. People say that, but I'm like, that's not a diss. I mean, you might think that's a diss, but I don't think that's a diss, because I think Tubi is the future. Because see, with Netflix, they keep raising their motherfucking prices, and then on top of
Facts.
that, who now they talking about commercials?
We
Shit.
was just talking about how they about to get their last $20 up out of me, and I'm gonna be right on
Right, right,
Tubi.com.
right. And you know, Tubi's owned by Fox.
Oh, it's over with because they gonna get all
Yeah,
those shows and all those movies. It's over
right.
with.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Exactly. And see, with Tubi, I think the problem is it's not people don't want to watch the commercials. I mean, commercials can be annoying. Nobody really likes ads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you want me to pay for it and still kind of watch ads here and there?
Yeah.
I've always said that, like, because you know, like Tubi is considered AVOD, advertising video on demand, and then like Netflix is like SVOD, streaming video on demand. And the thing is that like it takes money to make these movies, to make content, even television shows. My whole thing is, it's like, how can you build a whole entire business off of giving away an unlimited amount of content for only like $10 a month?
Right. You gotta
That's
have
not
an ad
sustainable.
somewhere.
Right, you're going right, exactly. And when
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out, I'm like, damn, does Netflix make any other? Do they have any other means of making money? And it's like, that's it, just subscriptions. So
Right.
I'm
From
like,
the
what?
listen.
I'm like, no, that's not sustainable. That shit. That sounds like that's a sinking ship, because I'm like, you got to figure out other ways how to make money off it. I'm pretty sure they have other little things here and there. They how they make money, but their bread and butter
Is
is those
Netflix.
subscriptions,
Right.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's how they value the cost of their movies. Like when you go to Netflix, they'll tell you, oh, you want to, you want us to buy your movie? Okay, they got an algorithm where they plug in the actors that was in your movie, who produced it, the genre, everything, and they'll spit back to you a value in terms of what they think the movie is worth to them. So like even if you spent $1 million making a movie, they might be like, yeah, it's only worth 500 grand to us, and that's what they'll pay you.
Mm.
And they don't give you, you don't get no back end. They don't have no other way of, you don't get royalties. They just outright buy the content from you. You
Trifling.
know, exactly. Whereas Tubi, you getting, they might buy the content from you, but they also might give you back end royalties based on the amount of advertising revenue that is being generated from people watching your shit. No, but that's why I was saying that seems like that's the future to me, because I'm like, with Tubi is completely free. You don't have to, like, same thing with YouTube. Now, if you don't want to watch those commercials, then you're gonna have to pay. YouTube Premium, and I pay for it because I hate commercials. So I paid the little what $14.99 a month to have YouTube Red or Premium, whatever it's called. But some people may not. A lot of people don't pay for that, and they're completely fine with it. They just ignore the commercials, or they might listen to the commercials. I mean, they have to be working because people keep spending money on those commercials. So, but that's why I'm like, when people keep saying, "Oh, Quan Mills makes books that are like Tubi movies," or he's a Tyler Perry of books, I'm like, well, shit. Well, that's, to me,
Two compliments.
that's compliments, right? I'm like, because people call me like the ratchet version of Tyler Perry, or Tyler Perry's evil twin, and I'm like, those are all compliments to me, because Tyler Perry's a whole ass billionaire. He done became a billionaire off of a DM and Meet the Browns and shit. I'm like, sign me the fuck up.
Right. And right now he has the largest studio space ever.
Mm-hmm.
Right now. So yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like I kind of took over your guys' podcast. I'm sorry. I know you probably got other
No, we
questions and
loved
stuff.
it. We loved it. This was literally one of my favorite episodes so far. We really, really, really
Thank you.
appreciate you. Please tell our listeners where they can find you. We're gonna put everything in the.
He's not on social media.
He is. He's on Instagram.
Oh,
his face isn't on Instagram, but he's on Instagram. He has a lot of followers too.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's on YouTube too. You know what? Look, can I make a request? Can we have?
Yeah.
You need to make it to where we can get all your books audio. Oh my God, I thoroughly enjoy listening to her read that book. She's fabulous.
Oh yeah. So actually, that narrator, her name is Karma.
Mm-hmm.
I just so I have Old Thought Next Door. She just finished that one.
I can't wait.
Yep. So that one's going to be on Audible. Now that one's going to be on Audible, but
okay,
I just secured her to do This Whole Guy Roaches on Her Crib, and I'm going to drop that one. She's going to be done with it on Tuesday, the first book. So I'm going to put the chapters on YouTube.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm gonna drop, like, just to get my YouTube follows up and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna drop a chapter a day.
Well, I'm gonna be tuning in every time. We're gonna put all of your descriptions in our description box.
Yes.
We're gonna put where they can find you on Instagram, and we're gonna put your YouTube link. And do you want them to find you anywhere else?
I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm just trying to grow my IG following right now, because I said I have a goal.
Yeah, we're trying to get our IG to your IG. Because your IG is popping. You talk about, I stay in your comments, I stay on your page. I know you was probably like, this girl.
No, the thing about IG is crazy is that, like, my phone, I get so many notifications that every time I try to comment or go in and try to comment, it's like that shit keeps updating. And I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, God damn, I'm like, probably, and I got like this Android. I mean, it's a good phone, but I think I might have to just switch over to an iPhone, because I feel like IG is more compatible with an iPhone. I could be wrong. I don't know. You guys got an iPhone?
Yeah, we have iPhones. We have Macs.
Yeah, see, I gotta switch over, because I'm just like, it must be something with this Android. Yeah, because I'm like, it seems like it ain't really working with IG that well. Because every time I try to comment to people, because I try to be as engaged as possible, because I probably spend like 10 hours a day on IG, to be honest with you. Like, just trying to comment, and just because I don't want to make it seem like I'm leaving people out. Then I got a lot of people DMing me, and then a lot of shit goes to my spam folder, and I'm like, damn, and I feel bad, because then somebody messaged me from last week and I'm trying to respond. So,
well, you heard it here first. iPhones rule the world.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely switch over though. But yeah, no, this has been I really appreciate the opportunity, and I wish you all well with growing your podcast, and hopefully you guys will get 1 million subscribers. You'll be able to monetize it, make a whole bunch of money off of it and whatnot. And
Yes.
definitely, yeah. So I'll when you guys get it ready, upload it and whatnot, I'll definitely promote it on my page and shout you guys out because it's literally the first podcast interview that I've done this year.
Thank you so much. We so appreciate you taking your time out of your day and your schedule to come on our show and our platform. We really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you guys even more for even supporting me. Thank you so much. And if you don't have any more questions, I really enjoyed the interview. So
All right. You have a good one.
you too. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
And thank you guys so much for tuning in. That was Quan Mills. Again, his description is going to be in the description. And tune in to everything he has going on. Tune in to us. Follow us at You're Doing the Most. I'm at Cinnamon J.
I'm at _BNB_1991.
And it's up. Y'all better read that motherfucking books. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, you doing the most.
Tell them hoes.
Hey,